It seemed impossible. It seemed done. Inca Turn have brought us back to 2-2 in this best of 5 series. Seven Deadly Sins have substituted back in Chime Bright, who had to back away from the last game due to some pain issues, but is back now. That's great news. We're glad to have her back. But she's going to need to do a little bit of lifting because the team needs to sort themselves out, mentally reset after a couple of drafts that come out of left field, have thrown them for a bit of a loop. And they are now 0-2 in the last 2 games.
The silver has been scraped, and Seven Deadly Sins will have to scrape themselves back to a 3-2 win were they to win the next game, of course. And yeah, no, the last 2 games have been meme bans, spelling out Simps and Keck W. That is...
And they've lost to them. Can you imagine the tilt?
And, like, to imagine that those were the drafts that won compared to the ones which were not that. That is crazy.
That's going to be rough. And that is genuinely a big deal. We know where mental states are at in professional games, when best of 5 start going this way, when the reverse sweep is not just looming on the horizon, not an inkling, but a very, very real and stark reality. And then to lose it with that kind of Darien swagger, oh my days, I just lost to Azonya's Renekton kind of vibe, like that kind of thing tilts.
Whoa. Wizard Lizard is legit.
The Wizard Lizard.
It's like Double Blade of the Rudikin.
Like, oh man, it's almost like have you ever seen Zonya's on Pantheon where he just ults into the old Pantheon, you ult into the fountain,
the Pan Man.
Yeah, and you just like go golden with the tip of the spear on the fountain, just stand there. It was remarkably tilting to see.
He had a ridiculously high AP ratio on his ult at the center of it, so he used to drop outside of it, so you could do about 3,000 damage with a full AP ult. So Zonya's actually worked into that, and yeah, no, I mean, credit to people who had the cojones to pull that one off in solo queue and not get reported.
Well, we've drifted a little way away from topic, but in some ways rightly so, because it has been role swaps, it's been drafts that have been unexpected. I mean, the last one was a little bit more normal, I think, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
The Mundo jungle is a little bit out there. The pipe is not the most meta.
It's Hodgson's main.
And I've seen a lot of sort of high elo junglers have been playing around with Mundo in the jungle. Does have a good clear, gets super tanky. We see what it is, and people aren't punishing it. That's good news. Let's turn our eyes though to Seven Deadly Sins, Nymera. Yes. We've got the original lineup back as far as we can tell. What do they need to do? Because they are in a weird place. They are in a tough place. There has got to be a lot of questions and a lot of doubt in the minds.
You pick a strong top lane matchup. You don't let that get out of control. I think the Mordekaiser was the big reason why Inca Turn won. I'd like to see Seven Deadly Sins go back to something like the Talia, actually, because they played coordinated when they had that pick. They just ran across the map. They were... playing well with their roaming potential, going towards these lanes which were being collapsed on with these really scrappy fights from Inca Turn, and you can get punished with that for the semi-global. So I think something like a Talia might be quite interesting to come out. I think you might just have to ban away the main... I mean, you already did ban away the main champions of Yune. The question is now, do you think that champion pool, that effective champion pool is deep enough, or do you just let them have their picks?
Do you let them have their picks? That's difficult to know. We're just waiting on.
No, I don't envy the coaches right now, because I think getting a good top lane matchup is important. I think that Icearrows needs to reset his mental a bit and try and find some earlier impacts, particularly when you're playing something with the massive teamfight presence of Wukong against something which is meant to be slower scaling like the Mundo.
Look, I wouldn't mind if you just index into something super simple, super straightforward, like we know he plays Vi a lot.
Yeah, no, Vi.
That's that's also just an amazing go button. And if what you're lacking here is just a little bit of comfort, having that easy to execute R button on comfort pick for yourself as well can just narrow things down to easy to execute things, especially when you aren't thinking as clearly as you'd like in these high pressure situations. And amateur tournament, all that kind of thing, doesn't mean there's not pressure here, doesn't mean there's not pride on the line here. And things get narrow when you're stressed. Things get narrow when you're things going badly. You start just focusing on what's in front of you. You stop listening to comms. You stop talking. You stop looking at the map. Simplifying things down, making it, straightforward as let me play something I know and don't have to think so much about. I press R and I go in. Makes some sense in this situation.
Yes, Glenn, please get out of lobby. Sorry, well, I just completely derailed your point. Yes, no, I agree. I think that there is something to be said about simplifying things. I said about Seven Deadly Sins, in Inca Turn, some of the in the game 3 victory is like they're playing a Mimi jungle. There is some very easy go buttons. They're just they're just right in front of you. No to press your ultimate, no to press EQ, all this other stuff. And as a team that if that skill shot hits, it's go time. The green light is there. I mean, you were saying, it's just an amateur tournament, but then kind of given the caveat, of course it does matter. There is pressure here. I mean, I know that before I do a cast, I always have that little spark of anxiety. If I've ever played music anywhere and go on stage, I have just the worst anxiety ever. I hate that stuff. You have an audience. There's an audience watching this. You guys, you wonderful people that are supporting us in what we do, and thank you very much for that. It brings the pressure. And the people giving Inca their energy for the reverse sweep, people backing 7 Deadly Sins to close out this series, this is what turns up the heat. It's what gets the blood pumping, and it does affect the players. And some people sink, and some people very much swim.
And we've run the gamut of references. We've gone from Star Wars to Yu-Gi-Oh, but I think we've kindly come back here to a pretty gnarly game of League of Legends. This will be game 5. This will decide it all. This will decide who gets to go to Division 3.
Who gets that name in the books?
Yeah, man.
Go down as the winners. That's something, right? It's something you can say on your record. Something you can say in the future when you talk to your league friends. Hey, I won this tournament I was in this one time. That was really cool. I worked with these bunch of people. We had to do a best of 5. It was really back and forth. And we came out on top, or we unfortunately lost. What's the story you want to tell?
And the story that will be told, well, maybe we won't spoil it quite yet. I've got the
we
script here,
script
but until such
time
as it is narratively appropriately
sorry, that was a month ago.
to disclose, we'll let it play out in front of you. The ban's coming in. It'll be another spell, surely. That's a Darius ban right there. It's Volibear in from 7 Deadly Sin. I'm worried. I think it's going to be another tilt draft. They're playing the mental warfare game, and the thing is, I want to mock it, but at the same time, it seems to be working.
So, like, game 1, the early game went pretty well, even when they had their first 3 bans taken from them. Like, there's a good chance they could just not ban anything important, and it would still be funny. Okay, the Orn's been put out, so Dio, that's what we got so far.
Oh yeah, I think it's the other way that they spell. They spell it the other way. You've got to be careful.
Mordecai's banned. Okay, so 2 top laners taken away.
Makes a lot of sense.
Side of Inca, they were the 2 winning top laners, of course.
And we're just trying to ban out Zambetta, who, as far as we know, is supposed to be Inca's AD carry. Like,
he's been doing alright.
But the flex is real for that. Of course, when you come into these amateur tournaments, there is that element. Like, I'm not playing my main role. I'm playing the role of the team. And we've seen that before across multiple levels of tournaments. It'll be Nautilus in here.
I agree with that ban. It's a really good ban. Chimebright had a fantastic game 1 on that champion.
Yeah, Chimebright. Heat-seeking, one might say. Lux is banned out for you, and rightly so. It was a massive amount of damage coming out of that mid lane. What was it, 7-0-12, I think it picked. Like, June hasn't died in 2 games now, again, reminder.
It was a huge game. It's actually first pick Caitlyn.
They just want to keep that on.
So
it makes a lot of sense for MacMan, right?
Yeah, for sure. But remember, this is against the team that's first picking Kai'Sa, and this is the first chance they've had to first pick that champion. Otherwise, it's been banned away from them. Also worth noting that Wukong's still available. Felios locked in for the first time. I can't remember what else has not been banned. Vigar. That's the one. Vigar's been banned for most of the games of the series. We can definitely see them come out. Whether that's support, whether that's mid, could be a pick.
Well, Chimebright will be on to another one of those picks she did a lot of work on. That second game, Morgana hit pretty much, a lot of important bindings, a lot of binding into seismic shoves. This kind of deal can definitely work versus the likes of Worthy of Felios as well. Will be Pike locked in again for a Raging Platypus. Has looked pretty good, to be honest. It'll cut through that black shield. It does stop, of course, the pullback if you hook right. You prevent the hook pullback by using the black shield, right, is the way you phrase that.
Yeah, but the black shield is on a longer cooldown than the burn skewer, so that's something which you can play around. However, yes, you're right, there is no magic damage in that bot lane to remove that black shield. Magic damage has been locked in though. It's going to be the Amumu, and immediately responded to as the Syndra. Remember, this was banned in the first 2 games. Did not want to have Shadow Alpha play this. And when they played in the regular season, their best of 3, 7 Deadly Sins took a big win against Inca 2-0, and one of those games is on the Syndra, the other one on the Victor.
And Syndra is just very good. Got pretty much all levels of play.
Nerfed in this last patch, but still very, very good in the Ascendant.
Even so, I think Syndra's kind of ability to control the wave, damage, a few picks, play a side lane if he needed to. Like, there's a lot of strengths to this champion, and Unleash Power, if she gets fed, is a delete button.
Sure. Banning out the Lux and the Ahri, both of those have kill pressure on the Syndra. It's the CC matchup into full burst. Syndra is not.
Let's go for the Nico here as well, potentially last.
Potentially you can burn it. Yes. Although, of course they haven't banned out the Vigo yet. I think Vigo's risky into Syndra, however, putting the cage down means you force a flash, means you force a cleanse, means you force a dash. Definitely too much of that.
Cannon taken off the way here.
And Amumu is pretty good into the Syndra because, Syndra is a mobile. You can potentially scatter the weak on that Q, potentially kind of interrupt that, but it is really tight timing. And if you do end up getting hit by that Q and you don't cancel it, then you're never going to shove the Amumu outside of that ult range. You need to land that stun, and it's really hard to do.
Need to land the stun outside of that range, could be tricky. And of course, when you say Syndra has got disengage if she lands the scatter the weak.
Yes.
Otherwise, she does not like people getting on top of her.
And the peak of Syndra gameplay is huge. You can disengage entire teams with like a Q ult into stun combo against, 4. Even if you have no orbs on the ground, you have like a 4-ball combo at that point.
Oh, they've spelt nod or donk.
Donk. Q goes donk.
Q goes donk.
Q goes donk.
Oh, the Mordekaiser reference. Oh,
unless they ran out of letters to do donkey.
That's what I was wondering. I think they're going to spell donkey with a Y there, but I was hardly expecting. Oh, that one's not. It could be one of the two. I'm fairly sure there's no spelling on the other side.
I was asking Icesaris in the last game, basically, you need to get into the thick of things, particularly if you're against a scaling jungler. And Mumu is a scaling jungler. Jarvan has the tools early to do everything he wants.
Similarly powerful ultimate.
Do it at level 2, level 6. Malphite's been locked in. See what's going to be locked in against X. This is blind. That wombo combo potential is huge. Remember, this could be mid lane.
Yeah, here comes the cursed boom. Watch out for the curse of the sad mummy alongside a unstoppable onslaught. No, unstoppable force.
Unstoppable force.
It is unstoppable force. Thank you. I conflated Hecarim's ultimate in there.
Oh my word!
Below in there as well.
Mother of wombo combos.
Yeah, well, you throw a ball onto either a Mumu or Malphite rather, and people will disappear.
And the thing is, though, there is only one black shield, and this is into a Syndra Aphelios. They have no way to defend themselves against this amount of burst.
And there's not that much tankiness either. Like, if it's not like there is enough wombo there, and if people get fed enough, that frankly, even if people survive or miss one, there's enough extra there that people will still die. Like, Pyke gets resets, Orianna got decent consistent damage, there's a Caitlyn in the back line as well.
The thing for me is that if you get hit by one of them, you get hit by all of them. Yeah. Get hit by... I mean, the Shockwave is probably the one that won't land first. That's the one which needs the most setup. You get hit by Curse of the Sad Mummy, then the Unstoppable Force comes through, the Shockwave inevitably follows after that. Pyke has his ult to clean up, so if you even do survive on a sliver of health, no. It's worth noting, of course, the Rumble was locked in, has a good laning matchup into Malphite.
Yes.
It's pretty fine with that. You get to Flame Spitter him down. Malphite can eventually become very tanky to that Rumble, but once you have, your double pan, Voice Staff, and Leandries, Rumble will definitely shove in and threaten that Malphite. However, there is zero frontline for the side of 7 Deadly Sins. Like, they can get caught out and blown up by so many things.
Maybe Jarvan goes into Hulk and be something. That's
not enough. That's not enough. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I'm aware that actually I do want to kind of go back onto Honest Sleep specifically versus Samvete here. It's a matchup which is known. It's not like the Volibear versus the Gnar, which is a bit newer. People won't have played against it so much. It's a matchup which is a strong one for Honest Sleep, and we know that Honest Sleep with an advantage can do good things in lane.
However, this is the first time we're seeing Honest Sleep versus Samvete, isn't it?
No, we saw it in game.
Oh, game 3, crap, yeah.
Where it was the Volibear Gnar, and the Gnar didn't work out when one.
Gotcha. Yes, no, I remember that. Oh, wow, things. Yeah, so Inca, of course, having the same lineup that they've had done for the same role allocation they've had for the last 2 games.
Yeah. Man, checking in on these comps, I'm seeing the Wombo combo is obvious, of course, for Inca 10. The other side, though, I mean, they've got the Hot Pot combo of the Jarvan with the Rumble ult on top of it. If they can throw a Syndra Unleash Power and throw in a Aphelios Moonlight Vigil in there, like, that's not bad Wombo either.
However, Aphelios can be punished by longer range carries and can get caught out.
Okay,
we saw Shinebright's Morgana tear apart this 2v2 though. That was in game 2, and that was it was nasty. That was still, however, Macman and Samvete in the bot lane. This is a different pairing for them. So yes, so the Morgana hasn't been played against this hero just yet. Surprised we haven't seen the Bard the entirety of the series.
No, I am a little surprised. Shinebright is known for that in solo queue. Haven't gone towards that, and Bard at the minute is a very strong pick actually. And I could see if they're looking to index in towards a little more lane pressure, going towards that would make some sense, especially considering Craft is considered probably their hardest carry.
And he's on the Aphelios.
Yeah, he's on the Aphelios, which we all know what that champion can do with the right items and the right weapons. I'm quite a big fan of this Inca turn draft, though. I think it could be a lot of fun, particularly when they have shown there's a propensity to fight and around those neutrals, especially.
I think Turn played very well around the Anemia last time. Just found those 3+ man ultimates and started the fight off that. Raging Platypus cleared up very well. I do think Pyke could be a liability this game. We saw that Raging Platypus was walking around doing vision control things into the Nautilus and occasionally getting blown up and getting caught out. You do that into a Syndra, you do that into a Morg Binding, you die.
I mean, there is a point where Syndra gets a couple items and Pyke does not.
Exactly.
And there's a bit of a level discrepancy. And she doesn't even need to press Q. She just presses R. She just presses R and you go. That's it.
We'll see what Keystone Syndra's going to take as well in the Summoners, because it's probably going to be Syndra teleport with the Electrocute. Then if you get like a Q ult into the E, that's the Electrocute proc. You get like 4 or 5 orbs down there. You can land a W afterwards as well. That is just a ridiculous amount of damage. All right, eyes on Shadowhopper for see how that Syndra goes. It's been banned a lot. Eyes on Honest Sleep. Can he lane a little better this time around? Eyes on the quick video we're going to go towards before we get into game 4. This final best of 5 game here. See you soon. We are live for the final game in this Division 4 final. And we're about to see what looks like 5-man stack.
The 5-man stack. And look where Macman's actually out in the river, so he's going to be aware of this. He's like, yeah, I need to run away. Needs to run real fast! But Giant Bright strikes, flash, and the binding secure first blood for Shadowhopper. All right then, 7 Deadly Sins. You bring the support main back. She strikes super hard, super quick, and that is the way you start off a final game when you're off a 2-game losing streak.
Oh man, that's a flash bind from the heavens right there. Coming through the Ignite, also committed. It's going to be assists for the entire team. Anyone with those Hunter stacks on the Domination tree will get one of those.
That's huge.
And if you have anything in the Precision tree, of course, with that those Legend stacks, which also come up, it will start you getting towards those. First blood goes over to the Syndra. That's going to be an extra pot. It's also going to be a Dark Seal in inventory. However, no summoners burn for the Caitlyn, and now with no summoners left on the Morgana, this still could be an avenue of opportunity for Inca.
Could be, but they've got to be able to punish it for now. It's a great start. It puts the Syndra up to a fantastic place. The Dark Seal is there, as we just said. That is danger. If that Syndra gets stacking on that seal early, if she gets to use it, because of course you get the increased pot efficacy because of it as well. She can trade harder in lane if she starts getting those stacks, gets to a Medjai's. That sounds like a good way to win a game.
Well, effectively, a Dark Seal means that every potion is worth 50% more. Now, when you've got 3 potions in inventory, it means you've basically got 4.5. Compared to the 2 of the Orianas. The pot advantage is at least theoretically in the favor of the Syndra.
Oh, that misses, and the binding lands. Chime Bright doing well, and that's a big trade in the mid lane. Yoon's already very low. The minion aggro is pretty good, but remember the pot trait and the last fleeting Dark Sphere in retreat does a lot of work on the Oriana and back end of that.
Zooming up to the top lane can be a bit of a non-interactive matchup because
flash, and that's going to be a lot of damage down. Remember, there is Just nothing to save the Caitlyn, not the Caitlyn, sorry, the Morgana still going forward for an auto attack is the Caitlyn who flashed in as well for that. Just does not get the kill. Craft is very, very low, but with Summoners burned pretty much everywhere but a heal on MacMan. That's about it.
And another Q lands on the Craft. So low health bars on both AD carries. No Summoners at all available from the bot lane now of 7 Deadly Sins. There's fireworks everywhere.
Fireworks is one way of putting it. Yoon gets traded on there.
She's the electrocute, but still bad trade.
Yeah, that one sucks. Gonna see what they can do. Dark Sphere doesn't land, but the Scan of the Week does. Yoon's very, very low in this
Very
lane.
low. I think you have to clear out this wave and then book it back home there, and you don't
Second
want to
Orange
face...
might not be a bad idea, actually.
Second Orange might be quite nice, yes.
See how it goes, but Jarvan's coming down as well. That could be there is the flag and drag, there is the flash. That could be dangerous. Looking at an invade now onto Amumu, who's cleared for the full clear and is in a lot of danger now. Ice Arrow's going to potentially get a hold of this. Look where Shadowhopper is as well, coming to an invade. Can they get the smite? Hodgson does, but may have to flash out here. Think about it. Think about it. Shadowhopper's here. No, use the flat or the drag rather.
Yeah, uses the Dragon Strike. Knows that he doesn't want to end up under tower, get queued himself, because that could be a double buff being taken away from that Jarvan. So no steal coming through on the blue buff. Jarvan hadn't managed to go, well, hasn't gone towards a full clear himself. Just went towards bot side into red buff and then into this blue side invade.
Yeah, it will mean Jarvan picks up Amumu's Grump, but Amumu can probably head out onto the map, look to get towards probably the bottom river. Scuttle Crab will make the most sense. There is a line of 3 wards in the blue side jungle, which will track where Hodgson is. But I think actually a lot of pressure would likely be around this bot side. Unless, of course, on his sleep and Samvete start trading a bit aggressively. Slight CS lead for this Rumble right now. Binding goes wide, and that's going to leave Raging Platypus a chance to go in, potentially, forcing the hook out back. Shield did go on the opposite target, but the hook didn't land. The Dark Pool does a bit of burn damage on the return, but that's about it.
Tortured Soil.
Tortured Soil, is it? Is it tortured?
Yes.
Is it Tormented Soil?
Tormented Soil. Ah, that's the one.
Ha!
I was like, oh, hang on, Sam. Dark Pool. What does that mean? Okay, we see it over here in the top lane. Rumble doing some good damage.
Yeah, doing some good damage, and Overheat is pretty good, but I'll call you out there. That felt
Come
good.
on. I think it's honestly, I think he's gone for the Ravenous Hydra and the Taste of Blood secondary. I think.
Ravenous Hunter.
Ravenous Hunter. Oh yeah, not Hydra. That would
I
be
say, wow, that was an unusual
very
build.
bad. Yes, he's gone for Domination secondary. He's gone for the Healing Runes, which does give him that extra laning sustain. Hasn't used his pult yet. Still full HP, even through all that trading.
Alright, Amumu is in that bottom river. We're seeing a Valios and Morgana move up to try and contest the bottom. Scuttle Crab take. Does land the binding, but that's about it. And of course, Amumu is tanky enough to not be too bothered by it right now. Scuttle Crab secured. Farm is even in the jungles. Jarvan is around, but so is Amumu, and this bot lane is as contentious as ever.
Samvete is struggling in this top lane right now. We'll collect that farm at tower, but you know what Rumble's like. You can just put the Flame Spitter on, flare out the Electro Harpoons, and it's a little bit awkward.
Alright, mid lane is pretty even actually. Orion did manage to back and get an amp tome at least, which is nice, but remember, Shadowhopper has yet to back and will get a much more impressive back as a result of it. But for now, even enough down there aside from that 1 kill lead, which is giving Cindy that extra edge of damage and health bar trade that they can take.
Level 6 is hit for
That's the big one.
all solo lanes but Syndra right now, which we'll be getting at the end of this wave. In fact,
Negatron
as
play
I'm
to
saying.
pick up. Oh, here we go. That's a route down, but Ice Arrows. Oh man, that's a big hook onto Raging Platypus, has used that deep water dive, and Ice Arrows reveals himself before coming forwards. I actually think after that initial bind lands, I think you just have to start moving forwards. And you can just queue the CC up.
Potentially, but then with the heal available from...
Yeah, might have been a bit risky.
You could have ended up getting dragged under tower by the Bone Skier.
There was Ignite, I suppose, for trying to...
Yeah, potentially something like that. This could be
could be a lot of damage. Might have to use
waiting for the next Q.
Not
quite doesn't pop the ult.
range.
Okay, I think with a flash there, maybe that could have gone through for a kill, but of course the
There's a barrier as well.
There was the barrier, but not wanting to trade that either way. Close trades in the mid lane, which has led to a 10 CS lead for the
Second early
Syndra.
back.
Yeah, second early back. But, well, no, I mean, you do back normally once or twice within that kind of period. Of course, the Syndra did back once early as well. It's not the worst thing ever for the Orianna.
No, but she is down that 10 CS. Pretty huge. MacMan gets caught. That'll be a very dead bot laner.
Uses
Welcome
the heal
back,
as well.
Bright.
Welcome back. So many binds have landed. Every time we're on screen, something's landing. The heal gets used. Honestly, taking a bit of a hard trade here versus the Malphite now.
Oh, it does take a bit. And with the Negatron glow up as well, actually, these seismic shards are doing a lot of work. Forces the equalizer out from Honestly.
I don't know whether he's there just clearing the wave, maybe thinking that a dive was coming. I guess he's doing that.
Mumu is in the ramp.
Yeah, 7 Deadly Sins going to go get this early Ocean Dragon.
For that now. That's going to stop what INCA were doing the last couple games. So good news from them.
It's good to see them. Seals end up spawning next. It will be the Infernal Dragons. So one to fight over just for those stats as well. Sanvetti's running out of mana. I don't think he has any kill pressure here.
Doesn't have any kill pressure, just shoving the wave up, and actually would honestly be using that over here. It's not doing quite as much work because the Negatron early pickup from Sanvetti has been fairly effective. Continue to see how that lane plays out. It's a big CS lead for now. There's a decent wave being pushed in though by the Rumble, so some of this will be recouped.
So Caitlyn, 2 binds, 2 deaths. Still, even in CS, has the BF sword as well. It looks like actually the FLS has not managed to find a recall yet as well. Sanvete is now completely out of mana, has no teleport and a plate going over to this Rumble. So the laning phase going in the favor of Flash Blind misses this time. And laning phase, as I was saying, seemingly going in the favor of 7 Deadly Sins.
Flash out of MacMan in response, especially with the Jarvan there as well. If that binding had landed, it would have been a 3rd death. This Caitlyn has been really
running twice arrows here.
Yeah, could be in a bit of trouble. Does use the flag to drag out though, and that will be the end of that little trade.
So Yune had wandered down there. Syndra available too, having now up to almost 20 CS lead in that mid lane. Every lane going better for the side of 7 Deadly Sins, going back to what happened in their 2 wins in the first 2 games of the series. Whereas INCA Turn will want to get to that point where they can teamfight, can bring about their wombo combo, and turn things in their favor.
Well, they've mostly hit level 6s here, looking across the board up the jungle stuff. The bot lane is still a little way behind. Of course, that's kind of the way it is for now. MacMan can't get away. I think it's frozen up as well. Oh, this is miserable. Late on the binding, or lit on the net. I apologize, and there's going to be a lot of damage to the Sentinel Turret gets put down. I'm not even talk about it because there's a mid lane fight going on as well. Flash out from Yoon. But this is more what we were expecting. Game 2, Game 1, 7 Deadly Sins are back in action right now, and mid lane and bot lane are absolutely being leveled.
Something which I mentioned a couple of times is that we've seen INCA Turn leave MacMan alone in the bot lane while Raging Platypus goes to the Roam, and it was working out really well for me. This game, it has been punished so ridiculously hard by this Morgana. In the 2v1 lane, this Caitlyn has just not been able to survive.
It was frozen out, so he had to try and walk forward to clear the wave, and just couldn't.
Or you communicate with your team that you have to do that. You don't do it alone. If you walk up there, you are at risk, and without the summoners, gets hit by blind, goes down for a free kill.
I mean, the reason I bring that up is because Hodgson was on the other side of the map. Raging Platypus was nowhere near. It was Caitlyn sat there doing absolutely nothing. Thought, well, maybe I have to take this risk or I'm going to lose absolutely everything. And
that's the losing mentality. You cannot go for that kind of trade. It is free objectives there. Wow, that's actually not bad dodge out by Yune there. It does end.
Oh, stole the Herald! That's a big play by Sam, but he picks up the Herald as well. It's going to be the equalizer out, but here comes Hodgson going to try and turn this around. That's a lot of damage now when Ice Arrow's having to flash away. And honestly, with no ultimate now available, there's going to be a lot of damage coming out of this, and Mumu with the blue buff as well. The tears are on from the W. Going to get another stun down. Big engage back, and Ice Arrow turns it around. Mid lane, though, is going back in the favor of Mumu, who gets the solo kill there. It will be 2 around the Rift Herald. So 2 for 1 overall around there. But what a mess.
Yeah, now Platypus is going to see if he can stop some recalls and maybe fish for something a bit more. Sees Ice Arrow on a pink flash. He's got a flash.
He got the flash. That's a lot of damage. Gets the Phantom Undertow as well. Forces not quite.
It's gonna be close.
Oh my days, can they get it? There's a bot lane power playing. Oh my days, the time still hits. Chimes, we missed you, and that is why. Oh my days, just can't miss heat seeking on this Morgana.
Well, we missed her, but she does not miss. It seems like every time we pan over, there's another bind landing. I said that once already. I'm gonna say it twice for good measure because it's true as it seems.
Oh man, well the Rift Herald steal was a nice bit of nice moment for Sam Vete, but this bot lane is really in trouble. There's 2 plates down already. The shove continues in. Hodgson will be around, but does not have ultimate anytime soon. Raging Platypus might think about coming down as well, but there it is. There's the 3rd plate, and that Aphelios will likely be backing for an Infinity Edge.
Well, he's only got the 1,000 gold, so we won't be having that right now. He'll be able to get himself either a crit cloak or the pickaxe.
Yeah, I apologize. I was getting a little too excited about the gold.
Yeah, 1,100 gold was, of course, spent on the tier 2 boots as well.
Of course it was, yes.
So not quite as much. Of course, you know, he would have had the gold in total if he'd not gone for boots to get towards that. Sanvete, though, has himself a Herald, stolen it away from the side of 7 Deadly Sins. That is potentially something which turns this game, because he can't, well, you know, he could potentially get some plates for himself in this top lane. turn around things. Has himself the Catalyst of Aeons now.
Second game in a row where actually he has the Rift Herald.
Very true, yeah. This time he's not on the solo carry of the Mordekaiser, but he's doing very well in this very good play. Is he doing very well right now? No, not quite. But we'll see. We're expecting great things of him.
Okay. Infernal Drake will be spawned in 10 seconds. There's a teleport available for both top laners. Ultimates available for both top laners. Ultimates available for both mid laners and the junglers. That's sounding like wombo combos happening around. And of course, that's a big hook. Then onto Craft. That's pretty good news for them. Going over that trap. They'll try and get something. Here comes Ice Arrows, though. That's a pretty big deal. And Rage of Paladins will go down. The teleports are coming down. But they're too late for the side of INCA. And it's already a kill onto Raging Platypus, who thought he had something, but the Jarvan was already there. There is no vision in the river, really. And they wanted to pick before the dragon fight. They got picked instead.
Yeah, Hodgson really on the wrong page there. Now we see that Shine Bright still hanging around the spot side. Hodgson seen on a pink ward. Infernal Dragon started up by 7 Deadly Sins. They will be starting this fight without their support. Dragon is being focused down. There is an equalizer. There is their wombo combo available to the 7 Deadly Sins. And Hodgson can be zoned off by Honest Sleep.
They are. It's going to make people very low, actually. Worth pointing that out, indeed.
They have the Orianna Malphite combo. They watch out for that huge burst.
Raging Platypus actually very nearly back. He's pretty quick on that pike. It's worth pointing out. Here comes the...
Oh!
That's massive! Oh my God! There is the wombo combo. There is the curse of the Sad Mummy. And maybe, just maybe, Silver Scrakes has cursed this team. It's a triple for the Malphite. The pike is back. And oh my days, Chakrams is huge. Remember what we said? It's going to be a lot of damage, but they're timing out. Can they get a decent... Oh no, the ult missed! Oh my God, I think he's going to survive, but no. Finally shut down for Macman. Ace overall for 3, but dear Lord, that Aphelios at 7-1-1 is a terror.
Holy crap, that was some damage coming out of Craft, but we have to talk about the triple kill from the Malphite. This is what happens when you have that wombo combo. The difference for me between INCA and 7 Deadly Sins is that while both teams have heavy damage, INCA have the front line to go along with it. Samvete managed to get the triple kill, that huge group top combo, and then took a lot of Craft's damage instead of it going towards his team, which is what led to his carry surviving that fight.
Well, the wombo combo is in. It does work. But it comes at a price of this Aphelios becoming even stronger. The shutdown did go over to Macman, which is great. He was in a seriously difficult position before this. Hodgson is going to die. Never mind.
And as much as the team fights have been really explosive for INCA, we have to say they have occasionally just slipped up in terms of vision, in terms of their...
dangerous to go alone, man.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. Syndra says so. She ults you in the face. What this will mean now is probably this dragon, which was so hard fought over in the first place, will be going after 7 Deadly Sins.
It will be a second row, and this is the deal, right? That even when the fights go in the favor of INCA, when they were on form, they just got the objectives in the end of it. Their fights would lead to objectives, and this is a big deal. We saw the Caitlyn backed after that fight, got herself an Infinity Edge. That's great. She's got boots as well, so she's not too far away from where the Aphelios is, but... this is problematic. First turret goes over as well, and that puts up to about 2,000 gold lead.
Most of which is on that Aphelios. You know, that is a 1,500 gold lead to the Aphelios. That is, you know, an extra BF sword, crit cloak, and an extra 600, 700 gold.
All right, big stun onto the Orianna, but of course she did get a level up there as well, which does mitigate that damage a touch. Actually, kind of lucky there.
And Ori did get obviously 100% kill participation. It's 1-0-5, doing really well. Of course, had that solo kill onto Shadowhopper earlier. You know, had some really good moments in this series. We saw that Lux game, so Nuka game, deathless so far in this Orianna game too. So 3 games on the trot, no deaths right now. The KDA is going to be pretty massive in these winning games.
Okay, well, Rift Herald number 2 is about to spawn. Let's see how this will go. Yune does take a trade there, but it's also returned back. We're careful. Ice Arrow's there. He was on a ward, though. Might have to think about it. Doesn't bother. Samvete is not all that susceptible to the poke there. Yeah, that's pretty good. It'll stop the plate trade. Well, no plates left. It'll stop the tower trade available to...
did we see a Herald summon?
We did see it. Actually, that's a good question. I do not know.
I don't know.
We weren't in the lane when we saw it. It could well have been something. It was in Samvete's hands. We'll have to see where the turret HP bars are at.
You know what's all up? All ultimates are up. And wait, no, the equalizer just used. This could still be a huge combo from Samvete, but no one's in place to follow
up. They're going to try and get up onto this Malphite, though. They're getting 4 members rolling up, and the rest of INCA were late to get up here. They stopped in the river, and it forces the unstoppable force out there. That could have been a great fight, and it's just been burned because of the late to the party.
I think that was the time for INCA to really go for things. Lands on the Shadowhopper. Ace in the hole going to land onto the Morgue. So now without the Malphite, I don't think there's really much.
No, I kind of agree. I mean, there's Hodgson here, but oh my days, damage down. Chakram's come out. That's gonna be about it. Macman, are you sure? This is what we've talked about when these guys step forward into just like random pieces of no vision. And there's wards everywhere at the minute for this Red Side River. They've got at least got the Scuttle Crab in the river, which was offering them something. But the Rift Herald will be summoned immediately mid lane, and Inca just out of position.
They were out of position, and you know, you were fighting with a man advantage because the Rumble was bot lane while the Equalizer was down, even if you made it there. You had all your ultimates. You know what happens. Oh, jeez, Macman, you cannot walk up into this amount of damage. So in turn, no, I think they've maybe missed their window of opportunity for another big fight. Of course, it will come again, and 7 Deadly Sins have survived that. They have come up to this point. They've managed to get themselves 2 dragons, get themselves that Herald as well, get themselves 2 turrets. They are very much in the lead in this game now. They just need to protect their lead, protect their Aphelios and their Syndra, and hopefully come out with some team fight wins for themselves, not get burst out again.
And again, 7-1-1 Craft. This hard carry we talked about before, even in the Azir game, was like 6-2 and something, was doing a great job on that particular champion. This time out, he's still not going to have an easy job because there are so many ways to get on top of him and blow him up. Aphelios doesn't get to dash. He gets the flash and that's it. If he survives, we can see him turn around. Chakrams are a drug that are pretty deadly, and it's a hell of a combo.
Also worth noting, all flashes are available from 7 Deadly Sins. The Supple Force is now re-available. It's come back up again.
All flashes are available, actually.
Every summon is available. Every ultimate is available. There's no objectives yet. We have a minute and a half until that Cloud Drake. However, I think if there is a suitable grouping of members, then someone will go and pull that trigger. And of course, a Dark Binding might just blow open this game yet again. Shine Bright landed so many of those so far.
Got to call out something here as well. We're looking at the stop off for Oblivion Orb for Syndra before completing Ludens, so the Ludens complete for Ori. I don't know whether that was a price point thing, or...
I mean, you can get a blasting one for that price. Well, it gives you the extra HP. Maybe that's the worry. Maybe thinking,
I can see that. Yeah,
but I think that if you get hit by something that's going to burst you out anyway, you probably just die. I also don't think that Oblivion Orb is particularly good on Syndra in general right now. I think Death Cap is more valuable. The flat AP is better than flat pen on Syndra right now, just because she has like a 3.1 AP scaling across her entire kit if she hits you with a full combo. And also the fact that something like Banshee's Veil or Zhonya's would go really far in this game. It gives you another tool to survive the combo. I don't think that is the item you want to go towards. And plus, yeah, you've missed out on your Luden Spike.
Inca are not more bothered about fighting for this dragon, I don't think, at the minute. They're going to be very late to the punch. It's 20 seconds till the spawn, and they're up in the top river.
They were looking to see if they could pick someone up, I think. However, yeah, you're right. It will mean that they would now have to teleport down, have to go into a period of no vision, because they have nothing on that dragon. Oh, no, they have one in the back of the pit. They have one ward in the back of the pit, one on Tri-Brush, but they're not set up for this at all. You're very right. They're going to have to walk into this dead zone where they might get bound.
Of course, Sanvete is there. He's going to back away, try and find a safe space to teleport as required. Hodgson quickly picking up some farm. Okay, dragon is live. Teams are around. There is a distinct lack of vision available for Inca around this river, and it's a dangerous team to walk into. We know what Chime Bright does with bindings. She's got a Zhonya's, by the way. It is 2 items on this Aphelios. That's a lot of work.
So actually a lot of vision cleared out by Platypus, Umbra and Sweepers. Malphite's being left alone with the top tower.
Oh, that's a big hook. That's Chime Bright in trouble. Look at the teleport over the wall. That's going to be fairly big. Flash! The curse of the bind. That's pretty good going, but no follow-up as yet. That's okay into the backline. The Aphelios is in trouble. There's a heal, though. Flashing out. Saves a life. Sanvete goes down, and the follow-up just wasn't there. There wasn't a shockwave, but there comes the death from below. But it is still a 2-for-1 thus far, but the Aphelios is dead. No shockwave, man.
I'm not sure if that was out of range on the E-tether from Orianna. And the own Supple Force only hit one person. Of course, it was the Aphelios. That's valuable, but it isn't enough. The shockwave doesn't come down, doesn't capitalize on any kills. They now, Inca have to watch as this dragon goes away.
They really do. Okay, so Honest Sleep is there. Going to get some poke out. Going to see how much the trading is. Not bad trade back from the Orianna, but of course, they just can't get in. And the dragon surely goes down. Yeah, there it is. Oh man, the curse of the mummy was great. That you could see the angle, but the shockwave needed to be there.
But don't get me wrong, Cloud Drake is not the most important thing to die over.
No.
Of course, it's removing it from yourself, and you are an ultimate-based team. You do want that combo more available to you and have it up all that time. But you know, you don't have to die for that. I don't think it's the worst thing that they lose it. It sucks, but it's not game over.
And it means Craft is without summoners for a while as well, which is
big thing, because those ultimates are already almost back up. We have the Unstoppable Force back available. It's just Curse the Sad Mummy, which is not there.
Okay, so let's take stock. It is about a 2,500 gold lead right now for Seven Deadly Sins, but we know what the Wombo combo can do, and I don't think any amount of gold is going to save Aphelios if he gets hit that hard that many times.
With a Phantom Dancer, a heal, and a
Flash.
Death Dance,
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe you live. But even then, I think you get one shot. I think there is not a point in this game where Aphelios is completely invulnerable. Because if everyone is in range for the follow-up, it just happens. You don't really get to
be in
complain.
range because you saw it be desynced that time, and like
Yep.
ults came in 3 seconds after one another.
I agree. Yeah, I think the teleport was unfortunately timed. It was a good ult from Hodgson, but yeah, the Malphite teleported in just a second too late. It didn't end up getting linked up. Orianna, obviously, as you said, wasn't in range. That's kind of bad.
That was a decent ward spotting out. The pike down there. Calibrum Q hits. And the ult reset, or not ult reset, auto resets what I'm after.
Also,
ult reset sounds a bit scary on the Aphelios, so I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, and as much as we talk about, you know, the X factor of the Wombo combo from the side of Inca, okay, Root coming into fine. I mean, Malphite doesn't take damage, but sure, cool, that's fine.
Throws up his W and he just doesn't take damage.
Yep, he has a lot of armor.
Yeah, he does.
He does. The other X factor is the catch potential of Seven Deadly Sins. You have the Morg Bind into Syndra Stun, into Aphelios Root, flash away from Honest Sleep on the bot side of the map. That will be important. Nothing to escape that Wombo combo from the top laner now, and has, of course he has the stopwatch, but it's still one of those defensive tools taken away. But there are X factors from both teams to try and win this game.
Another binding lands, but Zambete once again seems to be able to shrug it off pretty well. Raging Platypus still around, but needs to get out pretty quickly. Here comes the engage. So Izar is very, very deep. Shadow Hopper's here as well, though, and that's going to be problematic. That's just a lot of roots, actually. I take it back.
Oh,
just
God.
dead.
He was, I want to see that death recap and see how long it's CC for. And once again, it's that X factor, it's the pick. The pick off comes
There's 4
through.
people, there's Barons available, by the way.
Baron is available. Dragons on the bot side of the map, seen on the ward. This seems like a really big overstep from actually Raging Platypus. He started this fight. He's got to take the brunt of that blame there. Gets caught out. Somebody goes down as well. It's going to be Baron C.
4 versus 1. It'll be Baron available. They're going to keep shoving in and maybe get something. It's not going to be the fastest Baron there early in the game, so probably turrets traded. And honestly, has got Equalizer. Yeah. So probably like to equalize the wave.
It's going to take a while for him to come up. He's not caught all the minions there, and honestly might die for this. There's some minions there. Taking a while for the Baron to go down, but it is going down indeed.
Okay, there it is. The turret picked up, and those were the first 2 turrets of the game for Inca turn. But Baron secured on all members for 7 Deadly Sins, and they seem to be back on form.
They do. They're on the same page, whereas Inca turn seemingly not. We saw that one big Wombo. They have failed to pull off every other Wombo since that point. Hugely fed Aphelios. Getting towards that stance as a third item. We talked about that being very important. Gives you those extra resists, gives you that extra mitigated damage, or rather deferred damage, per se. And the extra healing, of course, coming through as well. If you manage to survive through the CC and start auto-attacking back, with something like a Severum, you heal for most of your HP.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, I wish I could say more, but that is the way it is. Ludens is in for Syndra now as well. Raging Platypus takes damage. Crafts around in the bush, and Inca turn have just lost all semblance of vision control, it feels like.
Okay, but now the question is, these guys are grouping up to siege. This is where the Malphite might look for a big ult. There's a flank coming in.
Gotta see it. Where is the Malphite? He's off vision right now. They just don't know, and they are terrified, and rightly so. And
this is why the Baron might not be as big as you might think. If you group up for it, Malphite eats you for breakfast. Bind lands onto a Mumi. Let's see what happens.
Honestly, he's shoving in the top side as well. We're saying it is
Black Shield's down.
Black Shield is down. That's another binding down. That's a decent kill over Peacemaker. That's a decent engagement. It's only onto the Syndra, who goes down. That's a shutdown, but here comes the re-engage. Aphelios is super, super strong in the back. That's a hook only onto the turret, flashing out, but it's going to be a 1 for none, and nothing else.
Rumble's TPing. Okay. So,
Raging Platypus needs to be really, really careful.
Oh, is he DC'd?
He's DC'd. Yeah, you can't kill that.
Well, unfortunately, you can. The pause did not come in early enough. And he still died. That's unfortunate, and you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Oh, that's super rough. As the dragon is spawning as well, that was going to be a moment. Well, that could potentially cost us, so that could be really, really impactful.
It could be.
Because they got the Wombo combo, it was only onto 1. They're out those summoners right now. They're not going to, well, wear out the Baron probably, but it will be Cloud Cell now over to the side.
Part of competitive play is communicating when there's an issue on the tech side of things. Obviously wasn't. He's in a bad spot, gets killed. And admittedly, there were no ults really available. Well, of course, the Unstoppable Force and Shockwave not available for that fight would have been a hard one, but it could have been taken either way. Cloud Soul now over to the side of 7 Deadly Sins.
Cloud Soul is taken, and we saw again, it was a lot of Wombo burn just to kill Syndra. So it's
Well,
problematic.
it took away a Baron buff.
Yeah,
It did.
it did.
And actually,
Baron
there have
doesn't
been
do all that much
no
yet.
turrets have been taken because of that. And actually, that's something to say, right? You take the Baron, and most of your first thought is, let's group up. You don't do that versus the Malphite ult.
You really want to play the multiple lanes there to try and split things up if you can.
Yeah. Also worth noting, there's double Randrin's Omen from the top side of the map.
That's pretty big versus Aphelios, actually.
It's very big versus Aphelios. He hasn't got himself a Last Whisper item. He no longer has that bonus armor penetration on his level up stats. It's now lethality instead. It won't do as much damage. Obviously, going to, no, not quite find Shine Bright there. And we are back to relatively calm map state. No objectives available. There will be an Elder Dragon in 5 minutes. Baron available in just under 3, and that's what we're waiting for. Maybe there'll be a group up before that. Maybe there could be a wombo coming through, but we are waiting with bated breath.
Yeah, and looking here, it's about a 3,500 gold lead right now to 7 Deadly Sins. They increase that lead a little bit, but it's not massive amounts this far into the game. And actually, Caitlyn's not doing that bad for items
Rapid
anymore.
Fire Cannon's nice.
Yeah,
Rapid Fire Cannon,
it's
big
okay.
damage.
It's not Death Dance Infinity Edge Hurricane,
however,
but
importantly has the execution as calling as well.
Yes.
Because no one else has healing reduction on the team besides the Ignite of Raging Platypus. That could potentially, if a Q goes across the team, be the item which saves He's waiting for the.
Here we go! That's pretty huge. There's no shockwave yet. There it is. That's pretty good, and that means there's a massive. They've got the wombo combo. Shadow Hopper is just the last one alive, and it's a decent use of the unstoppable force, but it doesn't get anything. It's a double kill. It's 4 for 1.
It takes them 28 damn minutes, but they find themselves the wombo, and it's going to be a 5-4-1. There are no objectives on the map besides the turret, but they will take that in spades. Their ultimates will be back in short time.
Who cares
anyway,
about gold lead? It's gone.
Who cares about the gold lead? The items are coming through. The shutdowns have all been taken. Finally, it will be some map presence for Inca after that fight.
They take 2 turrets in mid. They're going to run into the jungle, and they have themselves, for the first time in this game, a gold lead. It is only 300, but that is a 3,000 gold swing.
It's that in the blink of an eye. You could not say it any quicker. It came in such a crucial moment as well. We said with the Baron, if you group up and your first instinct is to siege, you will get punished. They get punished there. They didn't see that gap in the vision. The Malphite comes in. Actually, maybe they did see it because they launched the Equalizer in. They just grouped up and got counter-engaged on.
It's like, yeah, you spot us. You didn't stay far enough away, though, did you? And, that's really scary. And again, we talked about the dangers of having no front line, and I don't care how much damage you get. This is the thing with something like an AD carry. This is like the thing with Kraft walking up here, and we're a bit nervous. Raging Platypus has caught himself a ball in the Ghost Blade, but we get to calm down a little bit now. Thing about an AD carry, normally speaking, Death Stance now, kind of a bit of an exception, but your Snowball doesn't buy you defensiveness, generally speaking. It buys you damage. Death Dance is now the exception to that. It changes the way things like Ezreal, like Senna are being played. Well, not Senna, but the Frozen Mallet.
Senna builds Frozen Mallet still, yeah.
Yeah, but for the longest time, the idea was you just boil damage. You got to murder people if you weren't hit. That's not what snowballing buys you normally. This is a team without a front line. They snowballed, sure, but it will never be enough to avoid the vast amount of damage that the squad does have on the side of...
no, I'm not sure you want to start this. There is a ward right there.
Coming in.
Every ultimate is available. This could be very dangerous. They're all stuck in the pit.
They are, and the pit could be doomed. Look at where they are. They've got vision. They've got a bit of a decent lock on Giant Bright. Hodgson's around. There's a lot of damage coming out. That's a bite in. That's huge onto Cam. That's a big shockwave again. They thought they got it. They don't anymore. Goodbye. 4 members of
cancel the combo,
and that's it. It's a triple kill. Pyke is there, and it's 2 fights in a row. It's a 5 versus 1. MacMan dies again. They don't give a damn, because you know whose damn is a 7 Deadly Sins, and they're finally paying for their dance with the devil. Because you don't group up in a pit versus the Malphite, the Orianna, the Curse of the Sad Mummy, and the Pyke who cleans up everything afterwards. Death from below will send, potentially, 7 Deadly Sins below. They might be stuck down here in Division 4, another split at this rate.
We have cast these guys for such a long time, and I haven't seen as clean an engage as I have seen in this game. It's helped by the champions they're picking, but the decisiveness is what has brought them to this map state. Now they are ready to fight for an Elder Dragon in a minute. All their ultimates will, surprise, surprise, be up again, and now we're not in this state where it's only the Aphelios, which is hilariously fed. The Caitlyn is very close in terms of gold. this Orianna, once again, deathless, has a 3,000 gold lead over the Syndra. And of course, we're later into the game. The gold leads start mattering less and less, but when you have a Void Staff alongside a huge amount of AP, you're still going to be very happy with those item pickups. You know what the strange thing is? The crazy thing, the great thing, this game's not over. It's not over. We still have another good team fight in it before everything's done and dusted. No, only the one inhibitor taken on the side of Inca Turn in that bot lane for 7 Deadly Sins. There's an Elder Dragon to be fought over. This could all happen yet again.
6, 0, and 12s. I'm beginning to wonder whether Yoon might end up being the MVP of this split, MVP of this series, rather, if it comes across. I can see now Sam Vete, that Mordekaiser game was pretty OP, but that Lux game, this Orianna game, my days, they're not even coming into this Elder Drake right now. They are terrified.
They don't want to group up, and that's
they're coming in now.
Level 16 on the Malphite Orianna now. Level 3 ultimates. This could be huge. Look, they're trying to approach here. That this is so dangerous.
Oh, they're on vision as well. Still, the binding misses, and they just don't have anyone who can walk up. The Sentinel turret's there. It's doing some work, but it's not actually anything. It's big again, but again, there's no Orianna shockwave yet. That's only onto one. It's only on to try and right. Yoon is godlike, but look at the backline. Macman gets slain out, and I think this might actually be a win now. 7 Deadly Sins. It's 1-for-1 thus far. Chime Bright goes down, but Macman is dead in response. Oof. This Orianna still does damage, and there's still not a lot of ultimates available. Flashes have been burned from the Aphelios. Got to be a bit careful. Raging Platypus can get a kill if he can get in. What can he do? Does get a shutdown. No, that's actually, sorry. That's the Syndra to the backline. Hodgson's in.
Oh, they've gone
doesn't
too
get
deep.
in. Oh, they've gone too deep. Maybe Craft falls. They get that. And Hodgson.
Wait, Hodgson!
That just does a lot of damage. They can't kill him. He's too tanky. And now, look at where it is. There's still this Orianna who's managed to flash out. And Sam Vete is tanky as hell.
Sam Vete's almost got ult back up again. I think Isara might die for this.
He's got ult up again. It's here. And here comes the boom. Got to think about it. There's a slow. He's going to keep walking at him. There's the unstoppable force. And this Malphite is unstoppable. 6, 4, and 10. It looked over when the Wombo combo was de-synced again. But somehow, someway, Hodgson, this late in the game with Bramble Vest and with the AoE effect of the tears, just does so much damage.
I said for the last engage, wow, we've cast these guys for so long and I haven't seen them do as clean an engage as that. So, we've cast these guys for such a long time, and I've never seen such a scuffed engage as that. And yet, it doesn't matter. Once again, the Ori survives the fight. 7-0, 14, KDA of 21 on this Orianna. Someone can fetch the KDAs from the previous games. I want to see what KDA she's rocking right now.
They don't care. They're here to take the Elder Dragon, and there's no jungler, remember, for the side of 7 Deadly Sins. They will lose this Elder Dragon. It's another unstoppable force. There's an Elder Dragon, and the execute is there. That's another one down, and Sam Vete is just a monster, unstoppable in name, unstoppable in ability. Oh my days, Nightmare. I think it's well and truly done.
The dream's real. The dream is here.
I don't think it's just that. I'm beginning to worry that actually there is no team fight the 7 Deadly Sins win anymore. They're down summoners. Where does Kraft get out of the engage?
That's a very good question. There's still a Flash, Curse of the Sad Mummy available from Hodgson, also level 16 now.
There's a Shockwave available.
Ace in the Hole was used just to pop the Banshee's Veil on the Syndra. You know what their goals are. They can see what's happening. The Unstoppable Force is ready yet again, and now they're going to back off towards that Baron, get themselves that second Uber buff, take down that second inhib on the way out, and see if they can try and close out this game.
Well, the thing is, if they, with the 2 waves of pressure, and they can then group around the top lane, they can force the side of 7 Deadly Sins to come to them. We're watching as Isara is coming across vision a little bit here. They know where he is, and they're just not going to get here in time. It's gone.
They're not, and at this point, now Macman's got himself a Bloodthirster. It can be harder to kill in that backline. Of course, Kraft has himself the Phantom Dancer too, the second defensive item we were talking about. I said, oh, you know, in one of these previous games, you know, if Aphelios gets those 4 items, he's going to be unkillable. I don't think that's the case with this comp. Not with the Elder Dragon. Not with such high level, such high AP from the Orianna as well. He is always at risk this game. There's never a point where he is completely invulnerable.
At the minute, 7 Deadly Sins are stuck between a rock and a trip back to Division 4. That's another turret down. It's 8 turrets to 3 now, by the way. That's where this game has gone. It went from 3 to no, now up to 8. They're going to siege onto this last remaining outer turret. Well, outer turret, turrets away from the Nexus turrets, rather. All the inhibitors are now exposed. The bot lane has respawned, and that's something.
Still on them for now.
True.
We'll be timing out shortly.
It is, but that's another inhibitor down. They're going to look for the 3 inhib and look to shove in. Have 7 Deadly Sins got anything in the tank?
Shockwave!
There it is. It's pretty all right. There is the unstoppable force. Craft is still alive. The Shockwave misses. That's huge. The Equalizer's coming out in return. Yu's taken really, really low. And finally dies for the first time in 3 damn games. I think they've gone too deep. This time the execute is here. Caitlyn is here. She's doing a lot of work. Does not get the... No, she does get the execute. Macman, all things are forgiven, but it's not enough. It's a 5 versus 3. But the turrets are under siege. Do they have enough wave clear? Maybe. Actually, Kraft has got Severum Crescendum. Surely he has enough. Surely Honestly is here. But with 1 Nexus turret remaining... Oh my days, it's super, super low.
Where's the aggro going? Can it go through?
Oh my, it's actually, that Nexus turret does go down. It's open. The Nexus is open. There is a teleport on Sam Vete as well. They can't leave the base for the next 30 minutes. Well, 5 minutes rather, let's be clear.
This is an 11-3 turret lead, but we have to talk about how that fight did not go well. It didn't go well. This could have been, it should have been the victory lap. They lost a fight with Elder Dragon. I'm gonna stop that word. You rarely see that happen. It just doesn't happen. You don't lose fights with Elder Dragon, and yet they did. Orianna goes down for the first death. 7-1 and 17, but that 1 is still there. That's the important thing.
Shockwave airballs. That's what happened. You know, the binding was there onto the Malphite to stop the Malphite chasing on further. It was a decent engage, right? But if that Shockwave had landed and 2 people died, game's over. It's done.
That's it. That'll be it.
It's not done. It's close to done. There are no turrets remaining for 7 Deadly Sins. They have no inhibitors remaining. They have a Nexus and a Hope right now, and they need the Shockwaves to fluff that again.
And we talked about Inca Dream. Wow, the Dream is alive. Well, 7 Deadly Sins are going to start dreaming for themselves now. Dream that the next fight goes as well as this. They definitely can. This is a level 17 Iceborne Gauntlet Malphite. He has the extra on hit. If this Caitlyn with the GA gets free time on that Nexus, it will go down. Of course it will. She has enough range to try and maybe poke it out even.
This is the Alamo. This is Pelennor Fields. Men, perhaps not of Gondor, but of 7 Deadly Sins. You have your White Tower, Minas Tirith, the Nexus, and you've got to hold on against the onslaught of Inca Turn. It's a good stun, but the GA is still there. They've got to get through that as well. There's a GA on Pike as well. Here comes it. It misses.
It misses.
Oh, that's huge. Here comes Piper. Giant Sprite does go down. There's 1 dead already. Ori gets a decent shot, but
it doesn't go off.
It doesn't go off. Can they even get it? No. Samveli dies as well.
Wait, Mini's on the Nexus. Mini's on the Nexus.
That's huge. Check where Raging Platypus is as well. They've held on again. Nexus is at half HP. Look where this Pike is. He's gonna try and find it. They thought they found it. They got too greedy. They got too impatient. We've seen it before.
And too deep. And yet, still a 2-for-2. At the end of that, with the 2 biggest ults, it may be in the game of League of Legends when it comes to those full items, got whiffed. Both of them. And it didn't matter.
Alive.
We still saw Syndra go down. Still saw Morgana go down. We now have a minute until the Elder Dragon. All the ultimates will be available again. Flash will still be down on Syndra. There's still no Flash on the...
we've got the Nexus on the Nexus. Oh, the Nexus, the inhibitors. There we go.
Let's go have a look on the inhibitors. We don't actually get timers for them, but it looks like they are still relatively far away from that happening. Remember, if this Elder Dragon comes up, there is still a chance that a backdoor happens. However, you cannot let the Elder Dragon go the way of Inca Turn. These fights have been close, even when they have been a win for 7 Deadly Sins. That Elder Dragon makes it not so close.
Right, well, they're going to have to leave the base to come and contest for this Elder Dragon, and that could be dangerous in and of itself. They're going to have to funnel through some tight corridors, and the base is a bit more wide open. Mid lane inhibitor has respawned. That's big news. Top and bot are still there. Waves are still shoving in. Honest Sleep has got teleport, has got a hell of a lot of items on this Rumble as well.
And also Aphelios reached full itemization on the Aphelios. Has the Mortal Reminder upgraded from that last Whisper, and it will be the Elder Dragon start up for Inca Turn. But now it's a very different story from Inca Turn fluffing the engage as compared to engaging instant. Let's see what happens here.
The traps are there. Chambright runs over them, gets a fair amount of damage, takes a headshot for her trouble. That's going to be that. The Elder Dragon is up. It's gone. It's down. That's it. That's it. Binding. Well, that could be it.
Now they have to be 5v4. They have no black shield. That's very important.
Aphelios is running back. The teleport is here. I think they've done it. Nymera have 1 headshot of 1 Elder Dragon of 1 execute. I think they've gone and finished it. Honestly, goes golden, but it's just going to be a monument to their sins, to their hope.
What's happening? What's happening?
Aphelios is here. Can he do it? Can he find it? But no, the execute is there. It's another 1 dead. Crafted to but he's been rooted in place. He's getting executed. He's gone down. Macman gets it. It's just the Aphelios alive. He can't do it. And that is it. Inca turn, slay 7 deadly sins. It is the reverse sweep. It is what none of us thought was going to happen. 8-0 in the regular season, and 7 deadly sin collapse. They fall back to Division 4, and instead we welcome Inca turn up to Division 3 of a monumental Game 5.
And what a final hurdle to run over in this race to the finish line. It was close. It was neck and neck. And it's Inca turn that are your Division 4 champions. We'll see you right after this break.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just saw a reverse sweep. We saw the mother of all wombo combos succeed and fail.
And succeed again.
And succeed
and
again.
Fail again. And
we saw 7 deadly sins look stellar in 2 games. Get a bit tilted in 3 and 4. Bring it to Game 5. Have a fantastic early game. Put the Caitlyn in the dirt. Shine Bright comes back in, overcoming some issues in the, like, personally, coming back in and doing a lot of work with the bindings. It looks great. And then the combos start landing. And then the Donk draft, the Keck W draft, the Simp draft, quite literally spelling out names in the bans. Find a way to overcome this undefeated roster and move up to Division 3. I'm at a loss for words.
And yet you're the one speaking.
I know.
I'm sat here
I'm waxing eloquent, but there's not much more to say. I don't know how to analyze this. I don't know how to go on further with this. This is where we're at.
There is so much to dig into with this. And part of it's the mental game, like you were saying. Part of it's that. Part of it's the momentum. There is a reality within sports, within esports, of momentum within series, within a game, within a series of plays. You know, we saw the momentum in that game go towards, you know, the Morgana landing bindings. MacMan's finding it struggling lane on that Caitlyn, getting caught out by every Morgana binding. And then the one break of the tide. At the turn of the tide, I return to you, paraphrasing Gandalf the White. He comes back in that one momentum. The dawn of the 5th game. It was Inca turn coming out with the victory. We have ourselves an interview. It's going to be with a Raging Platypus, as far as I am aware. He role swapped in that series, and he came up pretty huge, so we're just going to invite him in right now. Hey, how's it going?
It is going very well, thank you.
Congratulations on the reverse sweep. Congratulations, Maestro of the Pike. How does it feel to come back from 2-0 down with drafts where you are spelling out memes with your bans?
Okay, so basically,
I didn't know if you were crying that, by the way.
Honestly, almost. Going into the series, I knew I'd be. So initially, I was going to be jungling against Ice, and I'm not a good jungler. So we pretty much all decided to not give much of a fuck if game 1 didn't go well, in the sense that we're not expected to win. We're not expecting to win. So our aim was to try and have fun, but still win those games. And after we lost game 3, Hodge requested to go jungle. So Sam was like, I can go top. And I was like, I've been playing Pike support for the past 2 weeks for absolutely no reason. So hey, I can go bot lane. And there you go. Feels fucking good.
And no, it's crazy to think that you actually won amidst those role swaps. Of course, Shine Bright had to leave for one game, did come back, and she had a very good performance as well. It's getting a little bit worried for MacMan and yourself in the bot lane there.
It was getting a bit rough early on. There was a lot of early dancing lane.
And I have to say, one thing which I kind of picked up on was that your team really thrives when you have those really obvious go buttons. And of course, you played, you know, you had the Fizz ult in game 2, you had the Jarvan ult in game 1 yourself, and I thought that you were probably the most coherent member of your team in those games. Didn't lead to the wins. What changed between game 2 and 3 in terms of the shot calling going in for you guys?
So there's 2 things there which I think make a major difference between game 2 and game 3. So team-wise, Sam is a very strong laner and Hodge not as much. By putting Sam into the top lane, we basically enable him to just hard bully a lane. Hodge gets to scale up in the jungle, and if we ensure that the lanes are actually going strong, we prevent Ice from exerting his pressure on Hodge too much. Now, it didn't go that well, I think, in the first of those games, so the Amumu one, because like they did get some early pressure into the jungle. But the solo lanes, or even like the bot
Yeah,
lane,
the
were
Lux popped
going
off.
strong.
Oh my
Lux
days.
popped off. Top lane went well. Bot lane went well. So from the moment those lanes are fine, we're all good. And normally Bower does the shot calling. But if you put me on something that I can kind of like half AFK brain on, as in Pyke bot lane, I can basically do the shot calling for half of it, and the team does the other half. So it makes it actually possible to have strong lanes and still have the shot calling that Bauer normally brings to us. And I think that's really what happened in the last 3 games.
Well, there you go. The mid-series role swaps coming up, role swaps coming up clutch. I do want to kind of touch on that mid lane, of course, stepping in where you're normally the mid laner. How was it playing with Yoon this time around?
So I have to give Yoon a big heads up here. We usually give him a lot of shit, and I'm literally the first one to do it because what Yoon doesn't do usually is step up and actually put his carry pants on because
Oh
he's
my
afraid he's
days,
not actually
wow.
going to deserve them. And today, man actually walked up to the mid lane, put the carry pants on, and smashed through the series. So honestly, a big heads up to you for showing up today. He did such a good job, better than I would have, and I'm really,
Deathless
really
for
proud
so
of
much
him.
of that game. The Ori was, even in the games where you lost, the Ori 1v1s were pretty good one. The Lux was fantastic. Game 3, serious credit there. I suppose the last question really from... Oh, you got something for us,
I
actually. I take
do,
that back. Go
'cause,
for it.
when you tell this story to your grandkids, who's going to be the hero of the story?
I would very much like it to be me, but in all fairness, it's kind of hard, you know, because I was actually going to try and elect a single person, right? But at the end of the day, Macman showed up as an ADC. Hodge actually showed up in the jungle. Sam smashed top. Yoon did his job in the mid lane, and more than was asked of him. So I can't give a single man. You know what? I'll actually give a single man. I'll say it was Bauer because Bauer was encouraging us all the fucking go, and dude, that guy brought so much to the team. I'll give him the credit for this win.
There
What a
you go.
lovely story.
And all right, your final thoughts. Nice to hear those kind words to Bauer out there. But final thoughts. You're in Division 3. What are you planning to do on there? Which heads are you looking to take?
I don't know what division he's in, but the only mid laner I'm afraid of is quote unquote kinda is Key, and I really want to take his head, but I don't know what division he's in, if he's even in a division anymore. And that's pretty much the only one I'm looking forward to match against. Like, with all due respect to everyone, anyone I scrimmed against within Inca, I can barely remember them in the mid lane because I haven't found that much. But Key fucking actually showed up, and I'm looking forward to play that guy again. Other than that, not much else really.
Cheers again, Raging Platypus. The angriest animal in all of Australia will find their way up to Division 3 with the rest of Inca Turn. GG to that team. Commiserations over to 7 Deadly Sins. But before we leave, we are going to throw it over to Joycey, owner of the league. Take it away, Joyce.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm just going to hit mute on you guys because for the next bit, I don't think you need to be around. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. I just got one final request, if at all possible. Can you all spam 1 if you want 1 more silver scrapes for Inca Turn? And as you're spamming, I want you to get your doo-doos, get your Pepe Jams, your Poggers, your Pogchamps, your Bodgestons, and spam them. Spam that chat out as silver scrapes plays us out. See you on the other side.
Wow.